for being here today at Insight into Injury. Today we're talking about knee strain prevention. Mike's here with me today and we're going to be going over some exercises to keep your knees happy and healthy. My name's Josie, I'm a physical therapist, and if you're one of those people that stand or walk or, things that we do on our feet all day, then these are going to help you. The first thing we're going to do to prevent a knee injury is to stretch out our hamstrings. The hamstring connects from the back of your thigh. It actually crosses your knee joint. So if that muscle's tight, it's going to squeeze your knee joint together and cause friction and that good old wear and tear that you've heard about all the time, that bone on bone. We stretch out that area by simply putting a leg out. You can do this exercise on the edge of your bed, on a chair, any place that your foot can reach the ground, and as long as the chair doesn't have wheels on it. Once your knee is straight and your toes are pointing up, you just lean forward and you bend forward until you feel the stretch running down the back of your leg. Depending on how flexible you are, you might feel that stretch just in your hamstring above your knee. You might actually get it in your calf and even up into your back. All that's normal, that's fine, but hold that stretch. Give yourself a gentle to moderate stretch for 20 seconds and then switch legs. Same thing over here. You want to make sure your knee's straight and your toes are pointing up. Lean forward until you get that stretch into your hamstring. After a 20-second stretch, and by the way, you can hold it as long as you want if it's feeling good. 20 seconds is a good average. The next stretch we're going to do is to stretch the inside part of your hamstring muscle. Mike will give you some space. Swing your leg up along the bed. And make sure that your heel stays on the bed when you do this, because if it's hanging off the edge a little bit, it's like cheating. You're not going to feel the stretch as strong. From here, make sure your knee is straight and lean forward there. Your left leg is just bent and with your foot planted on the ground to give you some stability so you're not feeling like you're falling off. And as much as you can, depending on your hamstring flexibility, you might find that your back curves a little. If you can keep your back a little straighter a little bit, it's going to intensify the stretch, but a little healthier on your back too. And go ahead and switch legs, Mike. With the left hamstring, Mike's feeling this stretch. I'm imagining down the inside of your thigh. Good job keeping your back up straight. That intensifies it. And sometimes you're going to find as you're bending forward, if your hamstring is tight, your knee's going to want to pop up. So it's a good idea. You can keep your hand right up on your knee just to keep that down and in place there. Feel that stretch. And if you're like, ooh, this hurts, know that you're doing something good for yourself. We're here before work, making sure you're not getting hurt at work today. No matter how much squatting and stair climbing and lifting you got to do today, you're going to be ready for it. Swing your legs back around. The next exercise is to make sure that the muscle along the outside part of your knee is flexible. Same thing, these muscles start up high, but they go down low below that joint. And if this muscle along the side of your thigh, the ITB, is tight, you're going to get possibly some patella tracking issues and also that same kind of squeezing of the joint that gives you that wear and tear. So Mike, to stretch this out, cross your ankle onto your knee and kind of pull yourself up nice and straight. This stretch you're going to feel kind of higher up. Might not feel like you're feeling it in your knee at all. It's going to be up here in your hip. That's normal. That muscle does connect down. 20-second stretch. If you happen to be getting pain in your knee joint here, what you can do with one of your hands is kind of just assist your kneecap. Your kneecap is being tugged a little bit down because of the tightness here. So if you're tight, you might find that you're going to want to give yourself a little pressure release by lifting up that kneecap. Go ahead, switch legs. Depending on your flexibility level, somebody's knee might be up in here. As long as you're feeling it up in there, you're getting a stretch. But a lot of times people can't even get their leg up here. That's normal. Some of you might only even be able to get your ankle barely up to your knee. Do the best you can. Slide it up, pull up with your pant leg. You'll find that little by little as you're working on this, you will get more flexible. Another different angle for this exercise is very similar to what we just did, but this time you're going to take your whole thigh and pull it up and across your body. Good. And now here you're probably going to be able to feel a little bit more running down your leg. That would be normal. You're aiming this shoulder and knee together. And you can twist your body. Yeah, whatever feels normal. You might find that you want to turn your shoulders. Whatever gives you the best stretch along here and doesn't hurt anything else. And then switch legs. Pull that knee up and across. Maybe give your body a little twist. keeping those knees happy. Again, this exercise is to help with patella tracking issues. And if you're walking on uneven surfaces, these muscles tend to get really tight when you're doing those things too. All right, the next exercise we got is a standing exercise. And it's kind of another variation for that same muscle. That's how important this is for knee health. Might cross your ankles, so you got one foot in front of the other. We're gonna do both, so it doesn't matter which one. And from here, catch your balance and head on down until you feel it stretching. Now what we're targeting here is the muscle along the side of your thigh, and typically the leg that's tucked behind, that's where you're gonna feel the stretch. But depending on your flexibility, you might also feel that in your back. You might just feel it down both hamstrings. Normal. Go ahead and switch legs. So again here, because this is a leg that goes under, we're looking to find a stretch mostly here. And if you can kind of flare your hips a little to the side or back, you might find a little position that will target that leg a little bit more to benefit you the greatest. Alrighty, next stretch, we're going to move on down to the calf muscle. And the calf muscle is below your knee, and just like when the hamstring crosses below the joint, the calf crosses above the joint. So once again, providing good stability for the knee, but at the same time, if those muscles are tight, you're going to get compression and that bone-on-bone situation that we're trying to avoid. So to stretch your calf, Mike, step forward with your left leg, and however big this step is will determine how strong your stretch is, so just find your comfortable point. And also if you're feeling unsteady for balance, just have a chair or something nearby. What we're looking at here is a stretch in your calf. Your toes want to be pointing straight ahead, your heel stays onto the ground, and this knee will stay straight. And go ahead, switch legs. And just double check that your foot's straight. Good adjustment, Mike. There you go. And feeling that stretch in your calf. Good way to practice your balance. We'll be doing some more of that later too. All right, next exercise is for the quad. The quad muscle is this big one here in the front of your thigh. It also attaches down through your knee. To stretch that, Mike, grab onto your ankle. And definitely if you need something for balance here, then grab onto a table or a chair nearby. You don't want to be worried about your balance when you're trying to worry about your stretch right here. You should be feeling this stretching down the front of your thigh here. And Mike's doing a great job of keeping his body posture straight. Just make sure that you've got your knee in line so it's not any further in front of that other thigh than your other leg. And then make sure your shoulders stay up. You might be feeling the stretch run all the way up and even into your stomach area if you're doing it right and if you're a little tight. After 20 seconds, switch legs. Well, this will be a good balance challenge, Mike. Yeah, very good. Same thing, keep an eye that your thigh is not going in front of you like this. It's kind of like a flamingo. You want to keep this back and keep your posture up straight. Feel that stretch down the front. All right, great. Now everything should be loosened up, ready for a work day. And if you're here after the shift, then we're going to keep going with some strengthening exercises. This first one is for your calf muscles, and with both your feet together side by side, you're going to raise up and down onto your toes, lifting your heels up off the ground as much as you can. Let's do 5 of these, Mike, because there's some variations we're going to throw at you. And now turn your toes out like they're pointing out in a V. And same thing now, lift up again, lift your heels up off the ground. It changes the angle a little bit. You're going to be feeling this more along the inside part of your calf and in your arch. These are tougher than they look sometimes too. And now turn your toes in, point your toes at each other, and same thing, lift up and down off the ground. And we're going to be doing a balance exercise soon. If you're feeling uncomfortable with your balance, hold on for these exercises. It's totally fine. Doing great, Mike. All right, speaking of balance, let's give it a shot. All right, Mike, get on one leg. And to make this exercise a little more challenging, we're going to add some twists to it. Literally, we're going to add a twist. So here we go, kind of about 30 degrees to the right, 30 degrees to the left, and just like you're doing, keep your whole torso going with itself. What you don't want to see is this kind of like, twist and shout kind of move. You want to be having your shoulders and your hips go together. you're feeling your toes grip into the ground right now and your ankle muscles all getting strong, but it's creating a little bit of a shear onto your knee, which is also really great for knee stability. Think of all those times you got to walk around a corner during the day. And Mike's not cheating, that's good. If touching your leg to the leg is cheating. So make sure that stays out. And the leg you're standing on, that knee should be straight, not clenched, but straight. These aren't easy exercises. And if you lose your balance within your 10 repetitions of your twist, no problem. Just pick your foot back up and keep going. In fact, balance exercises are one of those things, if they start getting too easy, we're going to make it harder. You're never going to really feel like you're doing a good job at the balance, but you did a great job.
Thank you.
Next thing we're going to work on is the hamstring muscle. So this exercise is for your hamstring. It's to make your hamstring stronger. We've been doing a lot of stretches where there's a hold, but this is a repetition. So to be in position, you want to start with both your feet together. Now bend one knee. And at this point, we're going to be strengthening this leg. This leg is keeping you from falling on your face as you bend forward. So go ahead, Mike, bend forward and feel this hamstring right here, keeping you from pitching too far down, and then have it pull yourself back up. So you're isolating that muscle. You're feeling what it is. You get to the point where it feels like a stretch, but you're not actually using it as a stretch. So just go down to that point and then feel that muscle tense up and pulling you back up. So you're going to feel that muscle right in here pulling, and now tense it up and pull your torso back up to meet it. Good, let's go 3 more on this leg. And he's doing a great job. You definitely want to keep your back straight with this. It's one thing to bend over and kind of arch out, but keeping your butt back and your back at that nice curve, that is going to hit the spot and get this hamstring strong. Other leg, keep your feet equal together, good, and just put all the weight on your left leg, the one that you're standing on, takes all the weight. Your toes just kind of stay down for balance here on this leg. And again, you're tipping forward. He's doing a great job keeping his head up and his chest up, which keeps your back straight. Feeling that hamstring keeping you from falling, and then using that hamstring to pull yourself back up. This is an eccentric activity. Hamstrings are hard to strengthen without equipment. You can go to the gym and do those leg curls where you lay down and bend your knees, but this exercise you can do without equipment, obviously. If you wanted to make it a little harder, you could hold a weight across your chest, maybe take your gym bag or put some soup cans in your grocery bag or something, and kind of use that up here at your chest to make it harder. You can also add a little rotation component to it. Whereas Mike, as you bend forward this time, aim yourself a little towards your right foot and then back up. And then go back up to the center and back down. Bend to the center again here. And then back up. And then a quarter twist to the left again and bend. And back up. And as he's doing that, it's shifting which part of the hamstring he feels it on in the back of his leg. So just a variation. All right. The next muscle we're going to work on is the big one up here at the top. We're going to do some squats. So Mike, you can kind of stand yourself so your feet are hip width apart. You always want to have your feet underneath your hips. If they're too wide, then we're using some muscle that's going to be an imbalance. So you're great where you're at. Go ahead and let's squat down. And as you squat down, perfect. I knew he knew how to do this already. Come on back up and 10 of those, please. I'll talk about it here. You've got your hips going back. That is the most important part when you're doing a squat. If you were to squat and have your knees shift forward, when your knees go in front of your toes, you're putting all your weight up against the back of your kneecap, and that would make them hurt. But as you're doing it correctly this way, you're using your glute muscles, which are the strongest muscles there of your lower body, and they're powering you back up and down. This is how you would lift. This is how those bodybuilders do it when they have a big weight on their shoulders. If you want to make this exercise harder for yourself too, grab some dumbbells in your hands or I don't know, a case of water or something, and work on the squats that way. As you're getting close to the end of your 10 repetitions, you're going to be feeling these muscles here, getting a little bit of burn. That's what you want to feel. All right, is that 10?
That was 10.
All right, let's go. Next exercise, we'll do a last one here for the knee prevention series is sitting down. We're going to work on the quad. So last but not least, we're going to be strengthening the quad muscle. The quad muscle, again, is that muscle that runs around the front of your thigh. And when you're using it as a strengthening exercise, we're thinking about the tracking of your kneecap. That kneecap is hovering out there within your quad tendon, and as you contract your quad muscle, the kneecap has a certain groove that it's going to glide in. And when you've got a good balance of strength in your quad and flexibility in your ITB, then we've got what we need to prevent some injuries. All right, Mike, to strengthen that muscle, scoot back on the chair so your legs are dangling. But if your legs aren't dangling, that's fine too. You're still going to be able to do this exercise. Kick up your leg. 1 leg extension, 2 leg extensions. So as he's doing this exercise here, with him, he's got good tone in his knee. You're seeing that muscle contract right there. Awesome. That's one portion of the quadricep muscle that's doing the main job at those highest degrees. When your leg's all the way up at the top, that muscle really kicks in. And that's also a really important muscle to keep your knee from buckling. And any of that instability that you might feel at the end of the day when your legs are tired, they give out, it's because that muscle doesn't quite have enough juice. So strengthen it here. Even though this exercise is simple, you're just pushing your leg up against gravity. If you're really contracting that muscle and feeling the tension in that quad the whole way up and the whole way back down, believe it or not, that thing could get tired by the time you approach 10 reps. If not, go to 20, go to 30. If you really want to get creative, you can wrap your gym bag around your ankle and try to lift that up. Maybe your kid, I don't know, something. But how many is that, Mike?
20.
You feeling it yet?
Yeah.
All right, so that concludes our knee strain prevention program here at Insight Into Injury. Thanks, Mike.